broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
What's going on, guys? Welcome into the Good Wife After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV. We are talking Season 6. The episode is Undisclosed Recipients. Before we get into the show, it is March 29th. Wasn't New Year's last week?
It seems like it. It feels like it.
Unrelated to the Good Wife, tax season is upon us. It's almost April. What the hell is going on?
I don't know. Please don't talk about tax season.
All right, moving on. I don't want to depress everybody. I'm Bobby. That's Tara. Allison is out tonight. She will be back next week. We're going to jump in. We have a lot to talk about, but real fast, if you haven't already, as we always say, hit subscribe on iTunes if you're listening to the podcast. If you're watching our lovely faces on YouTube, hi, Mom. You can hit subscribe on YouTube. You can comment. We get a lot of great YouTube comments every damn week. We love hearing from you guys, so please do that. And I'm on Twitter at Bobby DeMuro. She is on Twitter at TJ Wagging Her Tail.
All the time, wagging the tail.
Those should be up on our lower thirds at some point today. We will also put them up on YouTube. If you're watching the video, you can have links directly to our Twitter, and we will share them at the end of the show. Let's jump into Undisclosed Recipients. And let me just say off the bat, for you guys listening and watching at home, if we forget something, we apologize. This show moved quick.
Really fast.
Today.
A lot of people.
A lot of stuff, a lot of people, a lot of relationships. We're going to obviously try to get to everything. If we don't, please be nice to us if we forget something. Hopefully you don't forget something major like the whole Le Mans story or something. But if we can forget something, we apologize. So,
and if you're going to be mean to us, at least be entertaining.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah. If you're going to be mean, say something funny.
Say
totally.
Something funny.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
totally
what we
down
want.
With
that they do that on Kardashians. That's what I live for. Say something funny to me if you're going to troll. That's what I want. At least be a comedian. Okay, let's talk about this. Alicia is SA. Mm-hmm. She has everything in her office, quite literally everything. Teddy bears and muffins and champagne and, everything.
Right.
Can't consume a gift over $75, so that leaves her with, muffins and saran wrap. She can't do very much else.
She can't do much.
And then she starts meeting people. Castro comes in first. Let's talk about Castro.
I love the fact that Castro is back for this episode because we haven't seen him. Remember, he kind of snaked out of the SA's race. We haven't heard anything from him or about him.
Do we know what he's doing next?
Given the conversation that he had with Alicia today, I think he will be watching her very close.
But I mean, obviously he's an attorney. I mean, right. I don't know if he goes into private practice, who knows? Probably.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into private practice and you see him pop up in the courtroom or back in Alicia's office,
That would be quite a little switcheroo. They call that, a technical term, the switcheroo. Okay, so we see Castro. He wants Phil Lorre as Alicia's chief deputy. She, of course, immediately says no.
Yeah.
Which is a mistake. We knew, obviously, she's not going to pick random dude. She's going to pick Finn. Yeah. We'll talk about that.
But I like the fact, and we talked about this, we should definitely stay apart from each other before we come on air, because we talked about this a little bit. Do I think Alicia did the right thing with telling these people no up front? No, I don't think she did the right thing. But did I enjoy it? Oh, heck yes. I really did enjoy the fact that Alicia looked Castro in his eye, and now she has the power, right, entering in as the SA, and he's like, I really want to bury the hatchet. Like, it was just the way he was even talking to her was slimy.
Wait a second now. She doesn't have all the power. He alluded to her that a lame duck can still tank your record. He's going to give her a bunch of cases she can't settle. She has to fight. They're worthless cases. So he can still hurt her. But broader with Alicia, we can go person to person with Castro, right. But broader with Alicia, I know that she doesn't want to play the political game, and I know that she doesn't. Her and Prady were both kind of like, politics are ridiculous, let's be people, blah, 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 kumbaya, let's all hold hands, whatever. Even if you don't want to play it, you have to know that it exists. And Alicia, in this episode, seemed to have no clue that politics is a thing. You ran for office. What did you think was going to happen? People are hitting you up for favors. You have to know that Castro will walk in, Guy Redmayne will walk in, Lamont Bishop will walk in. Who else was there? Eli's going to have issues with her and how she does it. You have to know that Finn is going to maybe want something or not want something depending on what you offer him. Like, people are going to come calling, especially ones who spent 7 figures on your campaign, which was at least Lamont and Guy.
Yeah, I get that, but she can't just, and I loved Eli's statement, you know, all my options are open as SA. I mean, I memorized it by then. I could recite it now. But do you want people walking in day one and she just rolling over? I mean, I think she had to take a stand and at least say something to say, I do have a backbone.
But she was so unprepared for it that, A, this speaks to the fact that she should hire Eli and not her body man, her body lady. But this speaks to the fact that she was so unprepared for it. It's like, I know you're going to make mistakes, but you made the same mistake 3 times.
Yeah,
you have to know these people are coming.
But I don't think she was unprepared. I think this was her plan the entire time. I think she knew she was going to enter that office that day and people were going to come to visit. And her point on day one was to make sure everyone knew, I'm not going to be like Peter. If she said that to Eli, did she go about it the right way? No, I don't think so. But that was her point. And that's how she wants to start her, you know, her time as the SA, to say, I'm not like Peter. I'm going to look you in your face. Yes, you gave me millions and millions of dollars, but I'm not going to roll over and do everything you want me to do. I think she has to make that point, maybe not using the language. You know, she used no a lot in this episode, and maybe too soon, but she has to make that fact known, or she's going to be just Peter's wife, who's now SA. He was corrupt, she's corrupt. If people just going to roll it together, she has to make some kind of stance.
And nobody would argue that she should follow Peter's footsteps, because he doesn't, you know, he's got issues. But she's too damn idealistic to be in politics. She should have learned that during the campaign. We thought maybe times were that she would. She didn't. She's here. She won. I have a big prediction about this later that I'm going to hold on to, but she is too idealistic for politics. This is a bad fit for her. She cannot do this stuff, or if she does, she needs to see the real world and not the ideal world, which is so weird because her law experience in the cases she's been doing in court should have her less idealistic. They should have her less kind of doe-eyed, I'm going to change the system, politics, I'm not paying to play with you guys who made my campaign or whatever, I'm doing it my way. It's like, this isn't the Mary Tyler Moore show. You're a state's attorney now.
Well, I really don't think she's being idealistic. I think she is just trying her best not to be Peter, and she's forgetting all this. I mean, she has experience. I mean, I've mentioned this several times this season, saying this can't be completely new to you. Like your husband ran for SA, he ran for governor. Like, you just can't come into this completely green. I just think she's so caught up in trying not to be what everyone expects her to be that she's totally forgetting how to play the game. But Eli stopped her dead in her tracks. I mean, I think I love
Thank God for Eli.
Right.
Yeah.
And she paid attention. Like, she really didn't care about everyone else. I mean, she ran through Castro. She ran through Redmayne. She ran through Lamont. But when Eli came to her and said, what the hell are you doing? You shut up, you shut up. I mean, she quickly retracted and was like, okay, this is a person who knows what he's doing. I better listen to him before I completely muck this up in my first day of SA's office. Like, she just completely, took back everything she said, and she finally listened to someone. But that was her plan to me, to come in day one and just fire it off, one after the other. If they're going to come, I mean, think about it. Kalinda said, you can talk to Lamont on the phone, and she was like, no, tell him to come in. She wanted to look all these men in the face, or people, whatever, in the face and say, no, I'm SA, I'm going to do this the right way. It lasted 2-3 hours, but at least she got it out.
And own that point. It is, she wanted to look all these men in the face.
She wanted to look all of them in the face.
There certainly has to be a component of that, because this is the good old boys club, even in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Even with all these people, there are a lot of male characters here. So there is a point to that. She seems so ignorant about it. I know that, and I'm not saying she should have rolled over to Redmayne or Castro or anybody else, but when Redmayne when you go ask Redmayne for 7 figures and he does it and then you win, what did you think was going to happen when he came in? You got to have more tact than just being like, no, sir. No.
I actually thought he was going to ask to rub her feet or something, or do something with the foot fetish. And
your feet are like Brittany, that whore in Arizona. That guy knows how to talk to women.
I love Ed Asner in this character, But I mean, everything from groping her. I thought he was really going to come at her, with some kind of sexual advances. I knew he was going to ask for something, but they were just firing off with their request like day one. Let me just get it in soon. And she was just like, no. You have to, you have to know that this is going to be different. I'm different than everyone else.
But here's the thing. I think Guy Redmayne's a great example here because Lamond is certainly not a politician, and James Castro never did anything for her. So there's a different relationship there. But Redmayne is not only did something for Alicia and expects something in return, he's also decidedly not idealistic. He knows what he wants to hear, and he would love if Alicia puts in his second in command, his Phil Lorre, who he wanted. But when Alicia comes back with an obviously canned line and says, all options are open to me, I'll decide in 48 hours, you can see it on his face. He knows he's being bullshitted, excuse my language, but he needs to hear the words. He's not idealistic. He lives in the political world, which is just games and stuff. That's what he needs to hear. He needs to play the game. Alicia, you got to play the game with these guys. You can make your decision, but you got to play the game with these guys.
Yeah, just like Eli said to her, you can tell him no. I think I loved his line of saying, silence times time equals is a no. Yeah. But these guys don't care if you tell them no. They just want to be able to say to their friends at a cocktail party or on a hunting trip or whatever they do, I got the ear of the SA. She's listening to me. You may not get anything they want, but he really needed to hear, thank you so much for your advice. All my options are open. I'm going to take into account what you said and make my decision in 48 hours. That's what these guys need to hear.
Yep.
That's exactly what they need to hear. So she's playing, like Eli's helping her play the game. It's just, she had to completely put her tail between her legs and almost apologize and kiss everyone's tushy.
Now, Lamond is a little bit of a different issue. Lamond's not a politician. He's a street politician in a different way.
Yeah.
Lamond's not a politician. He comes from a different realm where, threats and violence and things are of the norm, and he's kept it very close to the vest, of course, because he's had to and who he's dealing with and all that sort of stuff. But you could see it today starting to unravel. And I'm not saying my predictions are not going to be he's going to assassinate Alicia, because I think that'll go too far off the rails. Anyways, that's not going to happen. I'd be shocked if it did. But who knows what will happen with this guy? He's not going to operate the same way Guy Redmayne does.
Well, I think that's the difference between Castro and Guy and even Finn and Eli, all of them. All of this to them is a game in politics. To Lamond, this is his future and his son and his family. Yeah, this is life for him. So for her to come across so sternly to him and say no, when this is what he really needs for his plan to come into place, like his transitioning out of the business is not really, I'm leaving one corporation for the other. This is, I'm getting out of the drug dealing game and I'm trying to create a better life for my son. If you don't play along with this plan I have in place, you're going to mess up all of that. My son's not going to have his father. I'm going to be in jail. Like, this means a lot to him. And we've never really seen Lamond lose his cool like this in this episode. It just shows how much this means to him. And he is going to do, I think, and this is not a prediction, and I agree with you, he's not going to knock her off or anything like that. But he's going to pull whatever stops he needs to pull to make sure that she plays his game because he needs it. It's not like, I need to hear the nice words. He needs this to happen to have the life that he wants to have. He's desperate.
And he needs it short term. Guy Redmayne can keep finessing her to stay away from his real estate deal or whatever he alluded to with Castro. He can finesse. Castro can do whatever. Lamond's going to need this pretty quick.
Yeah.
There's a very timed problem here with Lamond. Did you get, I'll be interested to hear your opinion on this, because obviously Guy came across maybe not the best to Lamond in the in their little impromptu meeting, but Guy and Lamond have a common goal if Alicia doesn't do what they want, and a common enemy in Alicia. Could you see allies in a weird way between the two of them?
I think Guy's interaction with Lamond, I said, what the hell? I'm watching, I'm like, what the hell did he just say? I could see if it's going to benefit Lamond to get what he wants, I think he can get past all of that stuff, because when Guy left, he was like, who the hell was that?
Yeah.
Right? If it's going to help him achieve his goal, because that's what Lamond wants right now. He has to get out of the game and get out of the game the way he wants. So if it's going to help him get from A to B, quickly and the way he needs it, I think he would join forces with anybody.
Those would be some unlikely bedfellows.
Yeah.
I don't know what an alliance would look like. They're not going to go in on a business deal together.
Right,
I don't
right.
think.
But I totally think he would do it. The
I
question
think Guy's not going to go into the drug game.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. What would Guy get from Lamont except, like, I don't know, a chance to, like, really give off some racist comments or something?
Except I think they have different maybe ways and methods of taking down a state's attorney. And I don't mean an assassination reference.
Right.
I just mean they have different strengths and different ways. Guy can speak with money on the establishment side. Lamont could go a grassroots side or leak things to the press. And either way, the end goal could be the same. If Alicia doesn't do what they want next episode and beyond, you're looking at making two enemies right off the bat.
That's
and both
true.
of these guys, for different reasons, are bad enemies to have.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I don't know. I guess we'll see about those two. Lamont was interesting. He really lost it, though.
He really lost it. And, I mean, great tie and suit and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's every week.
Every week. You know, I don't know who picks his stuff. It's fantastic.
Perfectly manicured cue ball head.
Everything.
Just every time.
Just the right amount of shine. You know, you pay attention to that kind of stuff.
Unrelated, how often do you think he has to shave his head like that? What is it, a couple times a week? Like, I don't know.
I think it...
I know we're taking a left turn here, but...
I don't know. I mean, I would probably... I guess it all depends. Like, for some guys who are bald, you see, like, a little stubble every now and again. He is, like, always cleanly shaven. I would probably say every other day.
And, like, I know it's TV, so they're obviously going to cue ball him up before he goes on. But, like, in real life, like, I guess maybe most of it's bald anyways, maybe. Like, but, like, Michael Jordan, like, how often would you have to shave your head
I
like that?
don't know. I think it... I don't know. Michael Jordan has, like, new little kids running around, so he probably doesn't have the time he used to, but I
realize we've got way off topic, but Michael
Jordan...
Jordan's a Chicago guy. This is on topic.
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Back to the story. After these messages for Gillette razors, no, I'm just kidding. Back to the story now, the stuff you guys actually want to hear about, not our opinions on shaving heads. Okay. Finn.
Yes.
One of the other people who visited them, Castro, we will see. We both hate that guy. Yeah. Lamond, we're going to see. He's very interesting. Guy... as sexist and as racist as he is, God love him. I love the character. He's awesome. He's awesome.
Love the character.
But Finn.
Yeah, we want to see Finn too.
Do you want Finn as the chief deputy SA?
I want Finn as close to Alicia as possible for their relationship to develop, but I also think that Finn is a person of a particular type of ethics that if he truly has feelings for Alicia and would want to, like, act upon those, that is reason enough for him to not take the position.
I'm going to drop a mini prediction right now. It's a bomb of a prediction, but I'm just going to drop it. I don't know anything. I'm speculating. It's a prediction. I believe that actions today have opened up the door to what we talked about a couple weeks ago, where the actor Matthew Good is on Downton Abbey 2, and he might leave Good Wife if he had that quote about not wanting to uproot your family or whatever, and he might not be back. I believe the actions today will set the wheels in motion for Finn who's already dating someone or whatever he says, to turn Alicia down for the chief deputy SA and to leave Chicago or go to a different practice. And I think Finn is on his way out the door.
Don't dare say that. I mean, I have to say, this show is shifting so much. I mean, I was just thinking when we were watching the episode today, I mean, Carrie was such a big part of the season, with his case in the beginning. Now, in the last 2 or 3 episodes, like last week we saw him and David Lee, in a corner, like in 1 or 2 scenes. In this episode, he had, maybe 10 lines or something. Like, his character has gone from being this major storyline to really minor. So many things are shifting. And to have Finn leave, like, her only real love interest right now is just, that's a lot for me to accept. Plus, I think he's hot and I think he's great. He should stay. I'm to throw that in.
And we did get a lot of good comments last week on YouTube about that exact thing. Yeah. People saying, give Carrie lines, give the actor lines or let him go or whatever the deal is. Something needs to happen. Absolutely. But, yeah, I think this is a prediction. It's obviously not a breaking news story. I don't know anything. It's a prediction. But I just think this set the wheels in motion for Finn, and you're going to see Finn leaving at some point this season or at the end of the season or something like that. I think,
yeah. Well, I'm not a Downton Abbey fan. I haven't watched the show. I heard it's great. I'm not saying anything against the show, but I think I saw a headline this week saying it's going to end after its 5th or 6th season. I'm not sure which season it's on right now, right? Am I right about that?
So there we go. Engineer Alexis throwing in her.
Thank you so much there, Alexis.
Yes, this is the last season that's coming up.
This is the last season coming up. So maybe I would say if he leaves, let's just say and hope and pray, cross the fingers, toes, whatever, that his departure is temporary. Maybe he'll come back.
He's also British, I believe. He's English, and he comes from a theater background. So maybe he wants to go home. That's part of going to Downton Abbey. Maybe he's sick of the United. I mean, not sick of it, but maybe he wants to do something else with the kids. All speculation. I mean, obviously, we're just guessing.
But we love him so much. I think I started using the hashtag this week. Finn and Alicia forever.
God. You can't hashtag things that are longer than like 9 characters. You can't use 40 characters of a tweet to hashtag.
Someone tweeted me, and I can't remember, but someone also did send a tweet saying that they thought Alicia was going to offer Finn the deputy SA
and
position, and they were right.
Yeah.
And someone else tweeted me, and I was like, hashtag Finn and Alicia forever.
Oh, man. You're too idealistic. You're like Alicia. You are too idealistic.
Thank you so much, Alexis. Yes, I love that. Well, you know what? I think Alicia needs someone. I mean, this whole arrangement she has with Peter's been going on for a couple of seasons now. We know Peter gets it in every now and again. But I do believe, right or wrong, Peter had feelings for Romana. But, that's a different story. And Will and Alicia happened, 2 seasons ago or something? We found out, 2 seasons ago, we found out that her and Johnny was, a one-night stand. They threw that in on this episode really quickly. Mm-hmm. I mean, chick needs some loving, too. I mean, come on.
Well, listen, she's about to meet a ton of deputy SAs and new characters and offshoots of that and cases. And you could, I don't think they're going to do this, but you could really flip the whole cast over.
You
at
really
this point.
could. And that's what I'm really nervous about. That's when she won this election, that's what I'm really nervous about. Them, we could look up and it could be a completely different show with completely different cast.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, this isn't off topic here because this is brand new for The Good Wife. Mm-hmm. This is a huge left turn and a good one. I like the storyline, but this is definitely ushering in kind of a new mid-season era with Alicia going to a very different job. So if you had to pick 3 current cast members, obviously besides Alicia and Peter and Grace and those, if you had to pick 3 current non-family cast members to keep, who would they be?
Well, I mean, come on, you can't. If Eli leaves, the show's over. So are we considering Eli a part of the immediate family?
Let's say 3 law firm-ish cast members, 3 people from that realm. Diane, Carrie, people like that. If you had to keep 3, if you had to jettison a couple, who do you keep? Who do you put away?
I think the 3 that we will see would be David Lee, Carrie, and Diane.
The easiest 3.
The easiest 3, I think. Yeah. I mean, they're the ones that we see in court. That makes the most sense. David Lee is, what is he now? A fruitcake he was called? I don't know. But he's dating a woman. Yeah. Doggone it. And he'll sue anybody.
He wants that on the record.
He wants that on the record. I think they're the plausible 3. Of course, there'll be Julius thrown in every now and again and someone else. But I think that's where my mind is going. It's going to be very difficult not to open up the world of The Good Wife and introduce new characters. Now that she's the SA and doing different things. But I think those 3, and that makes me sad if we're going to see less of Carrie because he's hot too. Diane, she's talented, and David, I mean, he's the humor sometimes.
Yeah, he is oftentimes the humor, and not necessarily of his own volition. The joke is on him a lot. But I mean, again, remember, not only is Kalinda leaving, is Archie Punjabi leaving, you've also got maybe Matthew Good having hinted at leaving. And when you start having characters leave, I think maybe to a certain extent the law firm becomes very expendable.
Right.
And you start, and maybe they start season 7 or whatever with the law firm, and after a while they say, you know what? It's just not working. We got storylines in politics now. We'll always have the law because she's an SA, but this private firm, we can always reconnect with Diane. We can reconnect with Carrie, but Carrie's storyline has, for the time, resolved itself.
Right, and they haven't given him anything else, especially since now Kalinda's leaving. So that whole kind of love, will it happen, won't it happen, that's gone. Diane's married. Her husband's been on a couple of episodes. I mean, we're going to see, what is his name, R.A.?
Yeah, or RD.
Yeah. He'll probably come back. We saw in a preview that he'll be back. But I think it's going, that central law firm storyline, I think is going to become secondary, and that makes me really sad. I mean, I would love to hear what everyone else thinks too. We've talked about it a little and gotten a couple of comments, but it's coming now. I mean, she's SA, it's very real.
It's tough to speculate, but this is the time to talk about it. She's taken, she's there, she won the election. This is the time to start thinking about this stuff. So, we'll see what happens. Okay, let's talk about Alicia. Well. On this topic, her leaving the firm. Let's talk about this money. She needed $300,000 more to leave. Her, getting rid of her equity and stuff like that, divesting herself of her investments. Interesting because you can see the tension build between her and Carrie and her and Diane, even
Right.
before the emails, between her and all these people. I only wonder, though, once she divests herself, there's no more attention.
Right.
There's no more issue to have Carrie or Diane or
None.
whomever around.
No reason whatsoever.
I just feel like it's redundant to take a second storyline every episode from here on out
Right.
and say, here's what Alicia's doing meanwhile in the private law offices.
Back at the law office.
Yeah, it's like, well, wait a second. If the cases don't overlap every week, there's no reason. If they do overlap every week, I'm like, okay,
Right.
enough.
Like other law shows where it's like there's no other law firm in the entire
it's
city.
like Law and Order. You're like, wait a second, you're going to see the same lawyer every
single
case?
time. This episode was so much to me about power and the shifting of power, and for every single thing, like we talked about Alicia meeting Castro and Finn and all those kind of people, and at first Alicia had the power. Then after she talked to Eli, she had to shift and give the power back to the people she spoke with. This is no different. Alicia walks in and everyone is talking about, Carrie, David, Julius, and Diane. She has no leverage. She has no power. We know she's strapped. She has to divest as soon as possible. So they're coming in with the lowball offer. And everyone knows this is what they're going to do. But by the time it's over, they hit her with a real lowball offer, right? $250,000 less than what they started with. And her response was, just as not. I mean, she could have been a Southern woman who can curse you out with
your heart.
right, with a smile on her face and say, this will, I won't keep any of this. This will not have anything to do with me when I'm in SA and how I handle your cases, right?
Yeah.
So again, right there, the power shifted again because they are up in arms trying to figure out, is she serious? Is she not? Does she have the guts? Will she do it? And it was split. Some people were like, she won't do that. Other people were like, oh, look, you're there. She will.
I don't remember who said what, but one of them, I think it was Dave, was like, was that a thinly veiled threat? And Carrie was like, that was a very clear threat.
Yeah, it was a very clear threat.
Absolutely. That was an interesting thing. But it's funny to see, and I think, and this is a good time to actually bring in our third topic, which is Wharf Master, and we'll talk about the case itself, but talking about the email hacking, because this relates to, obviously, Alicia leaving the firm, because they said they're out a bunch of money and whatever because of this. It's funny to see how quick people turn against each other. There is no honor among thieves, they say. There apparently is also no honor among lawyers. No offense.
I was about to say, dun, 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 wait a minute.
No offense, Tara.
For the lawyer in the room. Maybe I shouldn't have admitted that.
You're a go-to legal expert of formats of law you don't practice. We assume you're an expert.
Absolutely.
But this thing about Wharf Master, it's interesting to see how fast they all turn on each other and how fast they all become enemies. And Alicia, that stone cold, I promise this will not hurt you in my court. Wait a second, it totally will.
Totally will. And they know it. That's the whole
Yeah.
thing. And I love the conversation that she and Carrie had before they had that conversation where he was like, it's amazing to see how people really think about, what people really think about you.
Yeah.
And she tries to defend it and say, no, it's sometimes people just blowing off steam. He's like, no. Sometimes what they say is what they really mean. And they flip on this scene and they're offering her no money for the fact that she created this firm. So we will see them in the court together because, she's going to stick it to him every time she can. I truly believe that. They're putting her between a rock and a hard place. And in the beginning, Carrie, with this negotiation, was like, she deserves the money. She started this firm. But then after the emails and after all of that, he was like, take the offer. Take the $100,000. We don't have anything left. So, things are changing, and you're right. Things happen quickly, and the temperature changes really, really suddenly.
And it's just bizarre to me that at the start of the episode, Alicia does not know how to play politics with Guy and Lamond and Castro. But by the end, she's playing perfect politics with her own firm. It's like, wait a second, Eli didn't teach you to say
No.
that. I realize he did teach you the phrase, but he wouldn't have taught you the same thing for this situation. I promise this won't affect your cases and my thing. That was you.
Right.
And it was shrewd. But that was you. How did you learn that if at the start of the episode you were bumbling around in your office?
But this is her. This is what she does. This is where Alicia is good.
Then she should have known better about Guy Redmayne.
Well, but that's politics, right? And I think she's playing.
This is politics.
I know, but I think she's playing the role of, okay, I'm SA, I'm going to make a change, but within the walls of that law firm, she knows each of those people. She knows how they get down. She knows how their tactics, and that is where Alicia shines. So when they offered her $100,000, she knew the offer was either going to go up, and if the offer went up, they realized what she could possibly do. If it went down, as it did, she realizes, oh, they think they have me. So she had to prove herself to make sure that she had to say something, let them know, no, you don't have me, I have you. She knows those people, and they know her. They should know her well enough to know that when she said those words as nicely as she did, that she's going to get them.
Oh, for sure. She 100% knew that stuff. Absolutely. And I guess just to hit Wharfmaster real quick, because I want to get to predictions because we have some good ones in a second. We got a little bit of news, and we're running a little bit behind because of The Walking Dead, I believe.
Please tell me everyone of that season finale was great. I mean, I heard it was good.
It pushed us back.
Yeah, I heard it was good.
But that's okay. We're not bitter. No. Okay, the Wharfmaster thing is really just a means to an end. The case itself is interesting. The illegal downloads, it looks like kind of a Kim.com situation. It's an interesting case and whatever, but it's just another case.
Right.
It's just the means to the end for the firm and the hacking and the impetus for offering Alicia $100,000 instead of $350 or whatever.
Right. And I think she wanted like $650 or something.
Yeah, she was going to go to $650.
Yeah.
If it's so 100 from 650 is tough to swallow.
It's a lot of,
especially
a big difference.
Especially on an SA's salary.
Yes. 2 kids going to college.
Yeah, one of them going to Georgetown or whatever, right?
Right.
Yeah, so this is not a joke. No. You're paying money. So not too much on Wharfmaster. I'm trying to think if there's anything significant there, but the emails were interesting. It was interesting to see the office come apart, reading each other's emails. Alicia doing like phone sex in these emails. What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
I didn't understand. Like, this is 2015. This is not the first time we've heard of this. We know that there's similar things going on with emails and like today's times. I get why they brought the topic in. But now everybody knows emails 101. Like, this is not your personal diary. Like, once these things are written, they're out there forever. I couldn't believe the stuff they were saying about each other.
Here's the thing. A little internet lesson for everybody.
101.
And I think this is a generational thing. We get it. Maybe people playing, a Diane, Alicia generation don't get it intuitively, although Carrie should. If you email it, tweet it, direct message it, post it, text message it, assume it's gonna get out.
Yeah, it's there.
Just assume. I know we can talk about the importance of privacy, and I'm with you. We should have privacy on the internet, blah, 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 blah. That's a different discussion. Just assume that one way or another it's going to get out. Most of us have, A, nothing to hide, really, and B, nothing that's worth hacking. Nobody cares about the crap I'm saying online. They don't. I mean, but I still assume that my stuff is going to get out. I'm not sending creepy stuff and phone sex and weird, just like, what are you doing?
I was so surprised at the type of things that they were saying. I mean,
on their work emails.
On their work email about people across the hall, to the point that someone spit on Diane's
You're cleaning that up.
I mean, I did. I've worked in a law firm. I've worked on high-powered whatever deals and that kind of thing. There's never been a time that I've ever typed an email about a partner, another associate, someone else, even on the other side of the the negotiation table, something like that. Now, I might say it to someone in person. Now, I'm not going to sit and say, I definitely have thought all of it.
Yeah.
But to type it and then hit send, I was blown away.
I don't get it.
I don't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
I do not get it. I have this piece of Chris Noth news. We're not going to have time to do it, so I'll just wait again. Let's do predictions really, really quick. Predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Interestingly, this Chris Noth news is going to be so old, it's actually going to come around and work. So I may hold it for a month. Okay, let's talk predictions. I'm going to be real honest and real blunt. And my big prediction, besides talking about Finn earlier, Alicia, not next week, but at some point, will resign from the state attorney's position. This is not for her. This is not her fit. This is not her job for a lot of different reasons. She's not a politician. She's a mom and a wife, kind of, and a lawyer, and all these other things. She is not a politician. She will resign, whether it's 2 episodes from now or 10. She's not going to fill out her term. It's going to be a disaster. She's got to go.
Well, for all of you listening...
And before I say, it's not just her fault. It's not an incompetency thing. She's obviously smart enough to do it. This is just not the right fit for her.
For everyone listening via like a podcast, my hands are lifted and my mouth is open like, what? Wow, that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a really big one. My prediction's nothing like that. I mean, my prediction... Alicia can't get away with, she was able in her email thing to like slide under the radar, right? So no one saw her emails, but we know they're out there. We know what they are saying. And we saw in the preview for next week, it's coming out. But I think the ripple effect of her emails are going to go beyond just her essay career. I think it's going to have a lot to do with Peter, and I actually think it's going to cause a lot of problems with she and Finn. That may be the reason why Finn up and decides to finally leave, but I think Finn's going to have like the hurt boyfriend type of feelings, which no one's going to expect, but I think it's going to come out and she's going to have to deal with it, and Saint Alicia will be no more.
Interesting. I just want, for the record, your prediction is something. And my prediction is Alicia will resign from the SA's office and Finn will leave the show. So I'm just saying, like, I'm the one going out on the limb here. Give me a little, I may not be right, but at least I'm giving the people something good.
I love it.
We did not do any questions for you guys during the show, so why don't we do this with questions? Let's open it up to your predictions at home. It can be about Alicia, it can be about Finn, but this is a segment we do every week.
Yeah.
So we want to hear from you guys, and we do that in the comments anyways, but specifically we are asking you on YouTube, on Twitter, wherever, what are your predictions going forward with whoever you want? Carrie and Diane, with Alicia, with whatever. It doesn't matter. That's what we want to hear on YouTube from you guys. So predictions, they don't have to be as crazy as mine. They don't have to be as out of control as whatever, but your predictions on YouTube or on Twitter. That's it this week on the show. We're out of time, guys. We got to go. We will see you next Sunday here on The Good Wife. For Tara, I'm Bobby. Good night, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.